Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm continuing my Mars Through the Houses series in Synastry. In this video we're going to talk about Mars coming into someone's 12th house in Synastry. So if your Mars is falling into someone's 12th house or their Mars is falling into your 12th house. So this one can get a bit weird. Not surprised this video was requested because this one can give a bit of an eerie vibe to it. And it doesn't have to be negative. I don't like many astrologers' descriptions of this placement being super negative, or all 12th house or 6th house synastry in general is described in a far too negative light, in my opinion, because it does not have to be that way. But with Mars, which is our energy, our more outward expression of our sex drive, our how we take action, how we go after what we want, coming into the most unconscious house in someone's chart where it's basically hidden to them. It's a vague feeling of a memory of some kind of past life and our, very deep feelings that we can sometimes have a hard time even accessing. So when this outward planet, Mars, representing the first house, comes into the 12th house in someone's natal chart, it's a very weird, interesting influence. There can be a vague feeling that we don't really have a lot in common with this aspect, and that could actually draw us in more depending on the people. If you're the type of person that likes to be in a relationship with someone who you feel is very different from you, you may like the feeling of this. The Mars person can really feel like the house person is a mystery. And even in a long-term relationship, they can continue to feel like this person is a mystery. And that can be really attractive for certain placements that need to feel that in order to stay interested in someone. Because there are certain placements that do need that. But for people who like things to be more upfront and less ethereal or mystical, this one can be very confusing and a bit unsettling. So the house person is forcibly able to look at their unconscious fears, their dreams, this part of themselves that, depending on the nature of their own 12th house, maybe they haven't really looked at. So it could be kind of a vague feeling in them of fear or of just uncertainty being around the Mars person, because it's bringing up all that maybe they have not looked at. If they have not done any type of healing work or past life work or, even just inner work in general, it's going to be more uncomfortable. Or if they have no planets in their natal 12th house and then the Mars person's Mars is just hitting up that place. It's like, whoa, we haven't looked at that. But if they have, a 12th house stellium, they might be more comfortable with this energy, and it might feel like meeting a long lost old friend who is actually very similar to us, and kind of forcing them to get an identity upgrade on their planets in their 12th house. Like, I'll give an example. Like, so my Moon and Mars conjunction came into my late husband's 12th house, but he had a stellium there of Sun, Venus, and Jupiter in Leo. So we actually were very similar, and I was able to help him look at his own Sun, his own Venus, and his own Jupiter, which were all sitting there in the 12th house. So, like, if it's like that, you're not going to feel as eerie or weird about it, although there still is an element of, like, the house person is the mystery. It's hard to put your finger on them. Like, what are they up to? What are they doing? What are they thinking? They're still kind of, like, mystical, but when there are some planets there that your Mars is conjuncting, it's more comfortable. And then so when I've had it on the reversal, so my only planet in my 12th house is Saturn. It's a little bit tricky, more so in Pisces. My 12th house is in Pisces. But before I had done, past life regression, hypnosis work, I spent a lot of hours in training for hypnosis and doing lots of practice sessions on myself and others. And so after that point, it's been more comfortable to have people's Mars coming into my 12th house. It actually feels like an old friend who really understands me on a deep level to have 12th house synastry. But before that, it scared the shit out of me because it was like someone's Mars coming into my 12th house, and it was like, whoa, eerie, weird, creepy, like vaguely sexual but scary. So it just depends on, where you're at with your 12th house. And what is the sign in the 12th house? So like for me with 12th house and Pisces, they bring up that need for me. Sorry about the beeping. I don't know how to shut that off on my computer. It's somehow my phone has hooked up to my computer, and the notifications, I don't know how to silence them. I will figure that out. But anyways, yeah, so my 12th house being in Pisces, it is sort of a more spiritual, emotional energy when someone's planet is coming into my 12th house, specifically Mars. It's kind of like a fast boost into these unconscious themes. It can feel like a deep, ancient soulmate bond with this one. It can have like I said, vaguely sexual undertones. The 12th house is not always known to be a sexual house, and it's not in like the more outward ways that some of the other houses would show, but it is in the sense that it's like eerily romantic, because we can get this sense that the planet person can know us better than we even know ourselves, because the 12th house is sort of hidden to us, and then they're falling there and they're getting to just kind of feast on all that unconscious stuff that maybe we haven't looked at. So there's this vague feeling that like we could have this deep level of intimacy and connection. And with Mars coming in there, there's a vague feeling that could be a sexual intimacy. That's very deep and ethereal, and like, did we meet in another star system like thousands of years ago kind of vibe. So when we come together sexually with this one, it can be like a reuniting with a soulmate. So it can be like that, and it can also be very artistic and creative, where the Mars person can really see the house person's like deepest inner self and vague feelings and fears, and they could really help them heal and help them create beautiful works of art, and sort of force them to in some ways, because of the way that Mars energy operates is so instinctual and outward and passionate that they definitely light up the house person in a strong way that could produce beautiful works of art if the people were, already having that artistic disposition. Then this one could really be good for that and for spiritual healing purposes. But in most people, this is just going to be vaguely uncomfortable and eerie, and we might feel like we don't have a lot in common. And 12th house synastry can sometimes bring up fear. Like, you could be actually fearful of the person. You could really feel like they're seeing you in a deep, vulnerable way, and maybe that's uncomfortable. Maybe you feel like they're stalking you or something. Like, how do you know all this about me? Or it's just, it can be creepy too, or it can be deeply intimate. And it just sort of depends on the rest of the synastry. And like I said, the state of the person's 12th house. Like, do they have a planet there? What sign is it in, right? What sign is this energy taking place in? So it can be very intimate and very romantic and sexual in a dreamy way, or very weird. So there's many potentials with 12th house synastry. But yeah, I'd love to know your experiences of this one. Oh, the other thing is, like, if you sleep together, like, I mean actually sleep this time, you could find your dreams being quite intense with this person sleeping in the bed with you. You can have like very vivid dreams, I've noticed. So that's another thing about 12th house synastry that can happen. So yeah, I'd love to know your experiences of this placement, and I'm doing your requests. Let me know what video you'd like me to do next. And also, I do offer one-on-one sessions. My links are below. Okay, thanks for watching. Talk soon.